Hi everybody, welcome back. Tony again here with Shinsho Yoga. And this week I'd like to talk about the difference between two postures, Cobra and Sphinx. They are often confused, and often in my practices I will tell people to do one and they do the other. So I want to get a little clarification on the two different postures and some variations on them. So both Cobra and Sphinx are a backbend. Sphinx is generally a more gentle backbend, but has modifications to make it a more intense backbend. Cobra, in generally, is a more intense backbend, but has modifications to make it more of a gentle backbend. Right? Both of them are going to be done from laying on the ground. Both of them are going to be using the upper body, using the arms or the hands to be able to influence the backbend, for lack of a better term. I don't want to say force because we don't want to force anything, and I don't want that to be misunderstood. We want to use the upper body lifting ability to be able to create this backbend. And both of them are going to have a certain level of requirement in the body regarding openness to make them happen. So both of them are going to require a certain level of openness in the front of the body to be able to access the full expression of the posture, and a certain flexibility within the back to be able to do that. So you want to be mindful in this posture if you have back issues or if you know you have tension within these areas, not to just launch into it. One of my classes one time that I did at the college where I teach, I had them working on backbends, and they were gone from beginners, and they'd gone through my beginner series into my intermediate series, and then I was having them to work on more and more things. And one of the guys next week, he was like, man, my back was really killing me after we were working on these things here. And I have to remind myself and to remind students to be mindful of where you are in this, because although what we're doing with these backbends can be somewhat subtle in that, it's not like camel where we're launching ourselves way back into it. We're pressing into it, and especially if you have some upper body strength, you're not going to think about it. You're gonna muscle it, right? And then you end up later going, ooh, 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 right? So something to be mindful of here in the process when we do it. So let me demonstrate both of the postures and the modifications for each. And let's start with Sphinx, which I generally will refer to as a gentle Sphinx posture, right? So let me move this out of the way because I have long legs. So you're going to come out onto the belly on your mat. And you're going to have the tops of the feet down. Now for Sphinx, you want the legs about hip width apart. They don't have to be zippered in. Matter of fact, for this posture, you don't want them zippered in. The forearms come in front of the body with the elbows generally in line with the shoulders. From here, you want to allow your belly to sink, and you want the shoulders to roll back and the head to lift. So you don't want to be in the posture like this, right? You don't want to be in the posture like this. You don't want to be in the posture like this. Elbows in line with the shoulders underneath the body, forearms in front. Roll the shoulders back, lift the head, tops of the feet are down, legs about hip distance apart. And again, we're going to breathe here. Now, one of the things that you're going to want to do in this posture is let you've achieved the posture, you want to let the body relax. So often when we do this, we'll tense up the glutes and really press let them relax. So start with the legs. Let those feet relax. Let the glutes relax. Let that belly sink forward. Let those shoulders roll back. Let the head lift. Let the posture do the work. You'll close the eyes and breathe. Inhaling and exhaling. that is our Sphinx posture. It is more gentle than Cobra in general, right? It's more of a gravity posture than an actual using any strength in it. Where in Cobra, we're going to be doing some pressing. In our gentle Sphinx, and I refer this as a gentle Sphinx because there is a modification that I will show on how to increase that back bend, that stretch in that. But you're going to let the posture do the work and let the body soften as you sink into the pose. Now, for Cobra. Cobra, you're going to start similar, right? Again, out on the belly on your mat here. But you do not want the legs hip distance apart. You want the legs close together, right? Tops of the feet are down. From here, right, you're generally going to start this posture here from Cobra. So the feet are together, tops of the feet are down. The hands come to the shoulders, right? So your hands are underneath the shoulders, the arms close to the body. You don't want them out here. You want the hands underneath the shoulders. For the full version of this position, with your exhale, you're going to press up, right? Letting that hip come forward, right? Letting the head lift. Again, you want to try to avoid letting those shoulders collapse. Like, you don't want to be in it like this. You want to be, and you can even bring the hands back a little further if need be. The hips stay down. Keep those feet together. Mine had a tendency to fall apart there. And then back down. So, Cobra versus Sphinx. Full versions, right? Sphinx, forearms are in front, elbows in line with shoulders, legs about hip distance apart. Let the posture do the work. There's no activity in it. We just rest in that. Cobra, the legs come together. Tops of the feet are down, just as in Sphinx. Bringing those hands to the shoulders and pressing up into that, keeping the legs and the hips down, unlike upward facing dog, where upward facing dog we keep the legs off the mat and vault everything forward. This stays down on the mat and presses up. What that does is that really isolates the back here, especially the lower back, and working to open that and stretch the front here. Sphinx does similar, but Sphinx does it in a gentle format, in a passive format, where Cobra does it in more of an active format. Now, there are modifications that we can do. So I'm going to show you an active Sphinx. So in our Sphinx, coming back into that posture that we had before. Again, the legs are hip distance apart here. If we want to make this more active, what you do is then lift the forearms and press into the palms. This is going to give you more of a Cobra-like pose, right? This is going to give you more of a Cobra-like feel. It may not be as challenging as Cobra because the hands aren't coming underneath the body and they're coming in front, but this will give you more of a stretch. Child's pose is a good counter pose for those both postures. So once you've done them, right, you've done all of this back bending this way, counter posing with child's pose is important. You need some type of counter pose, right? So if you're doing it at home, go into child's pose afterwards. Now, Cobra, again, taking it more Sphinx-like to do this to more gentle way. So we set up the same way as we did before. Feet are together, tops of the feet are down, hands come under the shoulders, but only lift a third of the way. This is what my teacher always called a baby cobra, right? I do this in a lot of my warm-up flows. We come into baby cobra, right? So our just preparation for it is here. And just lift a third of the way. That's all. This is a modification for cobra to make it more gentle. And again, child's pose is a proper counter pose for it. So, Cobra versus Sphinx. Cobra and Sphinx are both backbends. Sphinx is more of a passive backbend, where Cobra is more of an active backbend. But both of them can have modifications to make them more or less active, depending on what your teacher calls out or what is best for your practice. So that openness in the front of the body is going to be important. That allowing the body to relax as you come into it is important. And what's most important is to breathe and follow the breath. And as the thoughts arise, acknowledge them, allow them to pass by, and return to the breath. Thanks for watching. Namaste.